All right, everyone. Welcome to the Mario Golf Toadstool Tour any percent relay race. This is the losers final semifinals match between Zaxxa and MetalYoshi and mdmason and Spyfox. It should be a very close one today. I expect a lot of fireworks. Everybody should be ready, so we're going to get started quite quickly. The runners are just doing a little last-minute practice before we drop the flag. So how this will work, this is a relay race. So Zaxxa and mdmason will be going first. They'll be doing a new game plus run. So they'll be playing through the first 3 courses of the game, and then they'll be handing off to their respective partners, MetalYoshi and Spyfox, who will be doing the final 3 courses. And whichever team finishes a complete run first is the winner. So I'm going to message the competitors and we will get started just shortly. Alright. Okay. One of the competitors needs a minute before we get started, so I'll just continue explaining for a sec. So typically what we do is, we have the strategy all the teams have been doing is having the stronger runner do the back leg of the game, so they can sort of be the anchor, and then the less experienced one does the first 3 courses because they are a lot easier than the back 3. There's a very large jump in difficulty in this game once you hit the 4th course, Blooper Bay. So knowing your stuff on the back half is definitely important in order to get a good time. So that's sort of the strategy we've seen most teams in this relay race choose to do, and it seems to be a good one. The first course we're going to do, Lakitu Valley, this has a unique mechanic in that there's actually no wind on all 18 of the holes. So you might see some very interesting strategies that our runners might pull off. Without any wind, it's much easier to aim your shot, obviously, and sometimes you can find ways to get an automatic hole-in-one or an automatic chip-in eagle on a par 4. So you might see a couple of those. I'd be very excited, and you should go nuts if you see a few of those. Almost ready here. Just 1 or 2 more minutes before we can kick things off. So I'm checking speedrun.com right now to see our current PB, any percent PBs for these runners. Believe I'm not sure. I think Zaxxa posted a time recently, and so did mdmason. They've both been working on trying to lower their PB. And then MetalYoshi actually set a PB, I think it was last week, ended up earning the 4th place spot on the leaderboard, so good for him. And then Spyfox is actually ranked number 2. So back half will definitely be, you'll get to see the high level of gameplay that's required to go fast in this game. But anybody can become a runner of Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. We got plenty of guides on speedrun.com. The community is awesome, and it's a super easy game to get into. The skill ceiling is very high, which is what most speedrunners like to see. If you put in that work, you'll definitely see your times go down. So mdmason runs the English version, has a 1:08, 1 hour 8 minute PB, good for 33rd place. And Zaxxa, don't believe he's put a time on the leaderboard yet, but I have seen his runs, and he's definitely been putting in the work. All right, I just got word that everyone is ready, so we will get things started. And we're off. So this is New Game Plus, so you're allowed to use any character you like, including the star characters. So I'll be interesting to see which characters these runners are going to choose. Most general any percent runs, which start from a fresh game file, use Waluigi. Looks like mdmason's using the star version of Waluigi, and Zaxxa's using Yoshi. So both going with different choices here. Star Waluigi is nice because you get the same, familiarity of Waluigi and the curve to his shots. But you add, I want to say it's about 30 yards of power, maybe a bit more. I actually haven't used that character in a bit. But that'll definitely help you with some of the longer holes, especially the par 5s. You might be able to get a pretty simple eagle. Zaxxa using Yoshi. Yoshi has a very straight shot. So that was actually a character I used when I was first learning the game. Certainly a solid choice. You want to play with who you're comfortable with. Both competitors getting a nice birdie on hole 1 and off to a good start. Hopefully no tournament nerves here. This is an elimination match, so the losing team is going home. So both are going to be fighting very hard for to stay in this tournament. Bit of a tricky putt for Zaxxa here. It ends up hitting it to the right. Unfortunate. There was a bit of break. mdmason also missed their putt, so we're still tied up. I don't know, wind up getting a bogey. I must have missed a stroke somewhere. Bogeys they're not catastrophic in the first course, but you don't like to see them. The goal here is to really lower your score. You are allowed to skip holes on these runs as long as you meet the score cutoff. And the score cutoff to win the tournament for Lakitu value is +6. So as long as you get that score, you can do whatever you want, including skipping holes. And skipping holes means you're essentially taking a penalty of double par. So if you were going to skip a par 5, you would have to take 10 penalty strokes. So getting your score low is very important. It allows you to skip more holes and thus save more time. That's a very long putt there for Zaxxa. Let's see how he does. And gets the fantastic putt for a nice birdie there. Not easy. It's a great recovery after the second shot. We're coming up on our first par 5 here, so you'll see the power of Star Waluigi here, completely outdriving the Yoshi. Although a 273 yard, he must have used Star Yoshi actually. 273 yards is way further than a regular character, so it has to be the star form of Yoshi. So that means they're both trying to score very, very low scores here on these par 5s. This one's a bit too long. You kind of need Star Bowser to reach the green in 2. But you can get very, very close and make your birdie quite simple. Another long but flat putt for Zaxxa. Nails it. And staying even paced. The only difference is that one stroke so far on hole 2 from mdmason. So let's talk a bit about game mechanics here. Anytime you see the meter go red, that means you're using a power shot. You only get a limited number of those. So most of the time they don't become a problem, because if you hit what's called a nice shot, where you hit within 1 frame of your anticipated power and 1 frame of perfect accuracy, your shot is refunded. So you actually get an unlimited number up until you make your 6th mistake, and then they're gone. So as long as you don't run out, usually those don't become a problem. Mason very close to a hole in 1 there. Almost looked like a dunk for a second, and then had a second chance with the backspin. Didn't quite fall, but 2 easy birdies as well. A Rhino is saying, sending you love and coffee, Razorn. Yes, this is a little early for me. I got my coffee, so we're ready to go. It has been very, very even through 8, which is awesome. I knew that these two competitors were close, and it's definitely showing. Nice, excellent second shot from Zaxxa there. You'll notice both are running the US version. This does have a little bit of a slower load time, so you might see some folks graduate to the Japanese version as they become more experienced in the game. That adds up over the course of a whole full game run of about 2 minutes between the slower load times of the US version and the faster ones of the Japanese version. Both Mason and Zaxxa reaching green in 2 on hole 9. You can definitely see the power of the star characters. Looked like Zaxxa ended up a little short. We'll need a chip in for Eagle, and it lips out of the hole. Ouch. So MD Mason gains that stroke back, and we are basically tied. Oh no, Zaxxa missed the putt. Has to settle for a par. At least it's not a bogey, but that's got to be a little frustrating, losing a bit of time there. Those putts sometimes can sneak up on you if you're not paying attention. That something looks flat and has a tiny bit of curve to it, and you do need to give it a little bit of adjustment. Still, I'd say the difference is about half a hole, if that, maybe 1 stroke, so maybe a 6 or 7 second difference. And that can change very, very quickly. Is this free character selection? Yes, this is. This tournament is... This relay race, we're running the regular tournaments category, which is considered to be New Game Plus. So you're allowed to use any character you want, including the star characters. So you'll see both of these competitors are using star characters to try and get that extra distance and make some of those longer holes a bit easier. No hole outs yet, but I have hope that we're gonna see something. It doesn't take much. Bit of a tricky putt here, but I think Mason's got it, no problem. Zaxxa having to deal with the behind the tree pin on 12. Runners hate this pin, and that is an excellent shot. So you'll see Mason skipping hole 13 here. Definitely has the strokes to do so. In Lakitu Valley, you're going to be aiming for what's called a 5-5 skip, where you skip both par 5s on the back half just because they're the longest holes. That way you can save about 25 seconds a hole, and that's a lot of time save. So you're allowed up to 2 mistakes to reach that. And a bogey actually counts as 2 mistakes because it's a second stroke. So I believe Mason is still on pace because he picked up a stroke back with the eagle, and I don't believe he's hit any more pars since then. So we should hopefully be able to see it. I'm trying to do some quick mental math here. Birdie 15 and 16 would get you to -4. Yes, that would definitely be in it. Good chip in from Zaxxa there to keep the birdie on a hole 14. That hole 14 is a very difficult hole on most courses. Okay, so Zaxxa is going to skip 15. Maybe doesn't want to fall behind. A 5-4 skip's still pretty good. Because the worst thing that can happen is if you're not going to make your cutoff and you get stuck replaying like the final hole because a birdie is required, that can get you. That can have you lose a lot of time if you have to reset a hole multiple times because you need to hit a birdie on the last hole. So good safe decision there. Zaxxa's back to the cutoff of +6, so smooth sailing hopefully for the rest. MD Mason's doing some mental math on 17 and realizes, yes, he does have the strokes to skip. Just wanted to make sure before he hit the give up button. So this is where you're going to see a little bit of time delta, just because Zaxxa's having to play this hole as opposed to Mason, who elected to skip a different one. But even still, This is a very close match through the first course. We're gonna be heading in the Cheap Falls very shortly. As Mason finishes up, almost gets the chip in there for birdie, or excuse me, for eagle, and finishes up with a 9:30-ish. That's a pretty good time, honestly. For someone who does not have a sub-hour PB, a 9:30 latitude is solid. So going into Cheap Falls, we add wind. So no more of the freebie 0 wins holes here. You can get some if you're lucky, but it's not every hole. The greens are a little bit, have a bit more shape to them, so your putts are going to get a little bit harder. And there's a couple holes where it's much more important to change the impact point on your shot. And the impact point, if you look on Mason's screen, the bottom right here, the impact point is how you can sort of shape your shot. So most runners on most shots will actually top the ball. As you can see, the top dot on that impact point ball, that causes the ball to lose carry, land faster. And the reason for that is it actually saves about 1.5 seconds per shot, I believe, over a normal hitting the ball center. And the reason for that is the ball lands faster. In this game, you can speed up the roll animation. You can't speed up the carry, but you can speed up the roll once the ball is on the ground for a certain number of frames. So having the ball land faster means going faster. Now, you lose a little bit of control of your shot, obviously, because it's different than what the simulation line is telling you. But as long as you get used to it, it's definitely a necessary component of going fast. The other fun thing you can do with your shot, and you'll see this a lot on most second shots, is you can add topspin or backspin to the ball with a certain button combination press. Don't want to overdo it. It's very easy to backspin yourself off of a green, especially when you're using like a pitching wedge, which the ball already has natural backspin on it. So using those tools effectively is very important to learn early on in your speedrunning career in this game. Mason seems to have extended the lead to about 1 hole. Gets through those trees there. Bit of a risky shot. I think he was trying to go for it huge in hopes of maybe reaching the green in 2 on this hole 4. Wound up in the rough though, so couldn't quite get the distance and will still need a 3rd shot. Very close though. An easy birdie. Zaxxa almost got that hole in 1 on that hole 3 there. Good putt there. So trying to keep up, only 1 hole behind. Yeah, Mason's definitely going for these riskier shots based on distance. This camera angle scares me. I think he's in the tree. Should still have a shot from there. Oh, maybe not. That tree line is in the way. Gonna have to do a bit of adjustment. Got a fortunate RNG roll there. So when you're in heavy grass, your shot distance variation can wild greatly. So I believe it's plus or minus 10. Unfortunate that didn't fall. Have to settle for a par there. Zaxxa's getting some excellent follow-up shots. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, the worse your Y, the greater your shot distance variation, which is an RNG roll that you see next to Toad down there. So MD Mason's tee shot got a minus 1%, so the ball's not going to go as far as normal. Good lies have lower ranges of that variation. So that number is set when you select the power of your shot. So if you get what we call like a hot ball or a high roll, you may want to change the impact point or purposely mishit the ball with a slicer or hook to reduce some of the carry. And that way the ball won't go as far as the game is telling you it's going to go. Pretty advanced level strat to try and keep more normalcy to your shots despite the RNG. Good putt there from Mason from the fringe to keep that birdie. And this looks like a nice shot. Good use of the super backspin there to keep the ball close to the hole. Yeah, it definitely had some negative roll with that iron, so aiming past the hole was no problem. Definitely intended. Still close. The difference is it seems to be about a hole and a half, although Zaxxa's on a par 3, so this should be a little bit quicker. Definitely both competitors keeping it close. It won't take much to close the gap or widen it. Mason's down to 2 power shots. May need to watch it a little bit. Okay, rolls out of the heavy, but is in the rough, and that's going to probably ruin any chances here of getting to the green in 2. Ouch. Okay, so what happened there for Mason is he actually duffed his shot. It could have been a lot worse, I'll say that. Slicing at least has the ball go some distance. But if you don't hit the accuracy of your shot within that red line that's under the shot bar, your ball's not going to go anywhere. You're gonna duff your shot, and it's not really gonna. It's gonna lose so much carry that the shot's basically a wasted stroke. The only good thing is it got him out of the rough, so he was able to get to the green and continue on. But you don't want that. And the range of that red bar decreases the worse your lie is and the higher the club you're using is. So if you're trying to hit a driver out of heavy rough, good luck. You better hit your marks because you're only going to have about a 1. We call those a 1 frame because you don't get much variation. That's too bad from Zaxxa there. Another very close chip in that just didn't fall. Wanted that eagle. Still staying toe-to-toe. This may come down to sands to see who has the lead. But thus far, it's been very, very even in Cheap Falls. So our competitors are probably going to be going for a 5-4 skip. To get a 5-5 skip on Cheap, you actually have to play perfect birdie golf. You're not allowed any pars or mistakes or anything like that. If you pick up an eagle, that can help. But a 5-4 skip gives you a little bit more leeway. You can then miss 2 birdies and still be able to accomplish that. So I don't think we've seen any hole skips yet. I expect both these competitors to skip hole 13, which is a very long par 5. And then from there, it's kind of like runner's choice what you want to do. Okay, it looks like Mason's going to be playing hole 13. That makes sense with the star character. It's actually not that bad of a hole. Probably looking to skip 17, which has a very dangerous shot if you're trying to get on the green in 2. That can ruin your runs. We'll see if Zaxxa ends up playing 13 or not. That's a tough putt there. Nearly got it, but just a bit outside. Have to settle for a par here. Mason gets the nice eagle on 13, so that's probably why I ended up playing it. See if Zaxxa does the same thing. Yep. So we're going to see which holes they're going to skip. 14 is right here for Mason is a notoriously annoying hole. Oh, gee. I don't know what happened to Zaxxa there. Maybe they sliced the shot. But wound up in the water and is going to elect to just give up. Maybe didn't like where they were dropping. Not what you want to see, having taken a stroke and then electing to skip the hole. Probably the smart decision to avoid more further score loss, but you don't want to see that. So I expect the lead to widen maybe another hole, depending on which holes Mason skips. I think he's going to go for a 17-18 skip based on pathing thus far. This will be a tough putt. Switching up to middle power, that was maybe a good decision. I think that could have been possible with the 30-foot putt, but fine. Taking a bogey, though. Must have gotten caught up in the trees. And that's putting the second hole skip at risk here. I don't think anything's going to happen, so Zaxxa might have to settle for a 1-hole skip, and that will definitely widen the lead. Mason's taking his time with this putt. He needs this, I believe, to skip both 17 and 18. So that's why he's taking some time and got it. So that should work. Math checks out. You need a +4 to pass this tournament, and Mason's going to have exactly the strokes needed. So probably breathing a sigh of relief there. And that's, you're going to definitely see a bit of distance now that Mason was able to accomplish his 5-4 skip. So good job there, and heading into Sands. So Sands Classic here. Definitely a bit more difficult. It's still very manageable. You're gonna start to see some more weird greens, higher wind. Oh, jeez. Zaxxa winds up out of bounds. Yeah, that's that tricky section there. You got to be very careful. If you short your ball or hit a tree or anything like that, that is out of bounds. So the good news is I believe they're still fine because cutoff's +4, so it's just simple time loss. But you hate to see it. But yeah, these holes are definitely going to get more tricky in Sands. There's a few trap holes where it's very easy to wind up a bit, too far into a bunker. So Mason's going for this island here. You can really only do this with a star character. As long as it sticks, you got a real good chance at an eagle. So you're definitely going to see the power of the star characters here. He's going for it. That tailwind's certainly helping. This ball is going to have a lot of run to it. I was wrong. It had a bit less run to it. It stays on the green. So can he get the eagle putt here? That is beautiful. That's definitely going to give him a huge advantage on this course. You can't do that with regular Waluigi. So he may be going for, who knows, a 5-5 skip is now possible on this course if you play perfect birdie golf and get at least one eagle. So Mason's trying to extend his lead here, and it is about a 2.5 hole lead now, probably just 2 holes. Zaxxa is definitely trying to keep on his tail. Star power on Sands is huge, absolutely. The length of the holes certainly increases, and that is a wonderful putt from Zaxxa there. That is not easy with that much break. So, well calculated. Hole 4 here is another notoriously difficult hole. It's hard to nail the green. And of course, Mason narrowly gets a hole in 1 on it. It's a little bit easier with the star characters, because you don't have to hit a 4-wood. And Zaxxa did the same thing. This is the hole to be getting eagles, not giving up. What happened there was using the super topspin caused him to roll into the water. So the shot itself was totally fine, but using the wrong tool there, backspin would have been the answer to get the ball to stick on the island. We didn't need more distance there. We just needed to make the island. So a bit unfortunate. So going to be fighting from behind. Meanwhile, Mason is continuing their rampage here. I think they're at -5 through 5, so must have picked up a couple of pars I didn't notice. So gave back those eagle strokes. If Zaxxa wants to catch up, they're going to have to play very, very hard now, since they've already taken their hole skip on an unoptimal hole. Most skip 13 on this course, just because of its length. It's not that bad of a hole, but you do have to kind of go around these cliffs, and it can take some time. Mason's going for this island on 7. You can do this with regular Waluigi and try and go for an eagle. It's a lot harder to stick the green, for sure. without the star character. Wound up short here. I think there was a heavy amount of hook on that ball, which definitely lost carry. Didn't get the chip in, so I'll have to settle for birdie, but a free birdie is, nice. So the lead is still just a bit over 2 holes, so this is close. This is definitely close. Certainly the closest match we've seen thus far this relay race tournament. This is a tricky position for Mason here. You don't like this right side because of all the cacti, but using the impact point adjustment on the ball to curve around gets a pretty decent shot out of it. Maybe a little bit short because of the -2, but this is puttable. Switching up to metal power, very important, because that definitely wouldn't have made it on a 30-foot putt, and sinks it. So great recovery on 8, a tricky hole. Zaxxa is also going for the island, shorts the ball a bit. With the power of the star characters, we can still at least get up there. Maybe the green is no longer a chance, but we can chip in, hopefully, for an eagle. The point is to just get there without having to putt out, because if you're using a non-star character, you're gonna have to putt onto the fairway, waste a stroke. Another missed putt. Have to settle for a par. We need more than pars here. We got to earn those strokes back to get our second hole skip. So Mason's on the back half. I'd say the back half of Sands is maybe a little bit easier than the front half. Holes 1, 2, sometimes 3, definitely 5 are very, very tricky. 4 can be pretty tricky too. So it should be a bit of smooth sailing here, and we'll see how many holes Mason can skip to extend his lead. He can get between a 3 and 4 hole lead for his partner. That's going to be about a minute and a half, maybe a little bit more, which is a pretty large lead for Spyfox to take over. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. So kind of hoping things finish up smoothly. Oh, and nearly got that to roll into. Zaxxa got probably one of the worst lies possible on that whole 9-second shot. That's what we call a buried bunker. Usually you can't do much there. Can we get this chip in? Oh, that's too bad. Ended up doing an auto shot, and I bet that probably caused the ball to curve a little bit to just not make it fall. I was wondering where Mason was on that second shot. I think he hit his tee shot way too far. I've never seen that position before, but that's a nice chip in for birdie there. Definitely playing hard. Zaxxa is entering the back 9 with a +9 score, struggling to get some birdies. The cutoff is +3. So we're getting a little concerned here. We need to see at least 6 strokes saved. Oh no. Oh no, now we're at +10. This is not looking good. Zaxxa needs to buckle down here. We're not worried about trying to pick up a second hole skip now. We're worried about finishing the tournament. So, needs to turn it on this back half, or we're going to get in trouble quickly. I'm not sure what Mason was thinking there. I actually have no idea where he's aiming. I guess he's chipping out to try and take that long strat through the water because he couldn't make it. Yeah, that's what he's doing. Okay. Makes sense. Took a little bit of time, though, to make that decision, so opportunity for Zaxxa to catch up. Sometimes it's making a reasonable shot quickly rather than overthinking it. But the score is definitely very strong. -13 through 14. Think they're going to go for probably a 5-4. Well, no, that doesn't make sense. Maybe a 5-3. Just short there from Zaxxa. I can settle for another par. And really needs to watch the strokes. Really needs to watch the strokes. We're going to probably need to see an eagle on hole 14 here. Okay, so he is, maybe he's going for, he's skipping par, he's skipping 16. Oh, that's a good chip in from Zaxxa. Really needed that one. A little roller bowler to get it to fall, but definitely needed that. Okay, so Mason's going for the 5-4. This is a required birdie, and 17 is not an easy hole. That super backspin might make things a little difficult. This is not a free putt. Doesn't get it. Is gonna have to play 18, I believe. That's a big bummer. Meanwhile, Zaxxa gets the chip in eagle. All right. This is what you want. That's exactly what they needed to keep themselves in this. So we're on hole 15. We need 3 more strokes. And 18, it's definitely possible to get an eagle. You don't want to be in the position of requiring one, but requiring a birdie on 18 should be fine. So 1 stroke of give here. But definitely need to birdie 3 of the last 4. So Zaxxa is catching up quick while Mason's having to play out this last hole. I actually, I gotta ping my friend here to switch it over. This one's on me. So we'll get that over to Spyfox's feed very shortly. And there you go. Look at that. That's a hot handoff. That actually, that might still be Mason playing. I have a feeling that Spyfox is not going to be using Waluigi, but maybe he is. So Zaxxa is on 18 now and is at cutoff, so I must have missed something. Maybe there was a chip in or something, or maybe they just birdied the next 3 holes and doesn't need the 18 anymore. But strong job to get through the course without any resets. This should be a pretty easy chip in here. Doesn't quite get to fall, but we don't need anything. We just need to get through the course with a par. We just need to get through the hole with the par. Okay, we're good. We're good. So Zaxxa finishing up. Very, very close between the first 2 competitors. Only about a 2 or 3 hole skip. Finishing with a 33.02. And we're over on Spyfox's feed. There you go. The delay is wholeheartedly on me on that one. I did not ping the restreamer in time. The coffee can only do so much. But we got Spyfox running now doing blooper. And we got MetalYoshi on the left. There you go. So we'll see exactly what the difference is now. And it looks to be about a 3-hole lead. So it's significant, but it's definitely within the realm of possibility. And you'll see both runners are actually going to give up hole 2 here. That's standard procedure. Hole 2 is a nightmare. It's just so long and annoying that it's probably one of the longest holes in the game, one of the worst holes in the game. So we end up, taking our give up early on this course and having to make back the strokes. But for these runners, it should be pretty simple. I believe both are playing Star Waluigi. It's certainly the character of choice for the pros in this category. The putting animation of Waluigi is the fastest character in the game, so you're definitely saving time on every putt there. MetalYoshi got a hot ball here, so probably hooked it on purpose to slow this down, and still wound up on the fringe, but this should be puttable. I don't think he got it. Oh, he got green bounced. That's unlucky. So what happened there is very possible for some of the fringes in this game, or frankly, even the middle of the green, where there's just a bit of geometry you can't see. And when you take your putt, the ball just skips in the air and it can go anywhere. So that definitely throws off your putt, and that's exactly what happened. So a bit unfortunate what's going on there. Spyfox is at... Oh, wow! Look at that! You seem pretty happy with that shot. An excellent chip in for eagle on 8. You don't see that every day. Oh, that's awesome. I have a feeling he doesn't like this shot on 9, though. You don't want to be in that grass. The idea is to get to the hole in 2. And you really need to be on the fairway. And he ended up shorting this because of the -6 RNG roll. So now he has to play a third stroke from the bunker. Looks like he's going to try and play off of this fast fairway to get to the green. And he missed it, so he's going to wind up short. Definitely not happy with this. So, bit of a roller coaster. Gets the chip in, though, to save birdie. Well, so you go from the awesome to the terrible, but at least saved it. MetalYoshi's right behind on 8. So I think he's playing a little faster. I'm seeing the gap sort of decrease a bit despite that hole out. Yeah, Spyfox definitely had lost a lot of time on hole 9. If MetalYoshi can do this quickly, he might catch up even further. Rain on 11. Rain does a couple things to the ball. Definitely lowers your carry. The ball doesn't go as far. And then characters with a natural draw or fade, curve to their shot. The ball does not, it'll curve out, but it won't come back in because the ball doesn't travel as further. So you definitely have to adjust your aim a bit when you're playing in the rain, especially for any long tee shots. Metal is on the fringe in 2 and has a very long putt for an eagle here and nails it. That's definitely going to pick up some time. So the scores this far are probably pretty close. So I think they're both aiming for... They might be able to pick up a second hole skip on 17. That's kind of your goal. So Spy's going for the island on 13. Definitely only possible star characters, but it certainly makes this hole much, much easier. It gives you a nice eagle chance. Even if you don't stick the green, the chip-in's pretty simple. And that's just a beautiful shot there. That should be an easy eagle, and definitely make it a lot simpler to get that second hole skip. So let's see here. Yoshi's on 12, Spy's on 14. So I think the gap has definitely been narrowed to about a hole and a half, maybe a little bit bigger. But MetalYoshi's certainly gaining time and having the better blooper thus far. More rain for Spy. And rain on this hole, I think, is going to make this tee shot very hard. It's you should still be okay from the bunker here with the star character. Now this is a problem. MetalYoshi wound up missing the island on 13, and he's gonna have to chip up. Okay, that's pretty quick for what he was given. I might have taken a bit more time with that shot. Spy getting a nice chip in, continuing with the birdie streak. That was kind of needed after the second shot went a little awry. So Metal doesn't get the eagle, but that's okay. So Spy's skipping. He has the strokes to do a 5-4. Look at that. So cutoff is +2. I did my math very wrong. Oh dear. I think he still has an out from this. Oh man, he even chipped the ball. He even sliced the ball to get extra loft and didn't get there. This is bad, but should still be able to pick up the stroke on 18. So Spy will need a birdie on 18 due to that bogey. Shouldn't be a problem. Birdieing 18 with a star character isn't that bad. Especially when you nail that planet right there. You can actually get on the green in 2, so no worries. It just cost him a bit of time. Opportunity for MetalYoshi to catch up here. Nice chip in. I wound up in the sand, having to putt out. This is a required putt, and he got it. Okay. Disaster averted. Spy probably not too happy with the performance on that one, but we got out unscathed. So we're going into Peach's now. Peach's Castle Grounds, so a few more mechanics getting added to the game. Okay, so Spy's going to Star Boo now. Pretty close to Star Waluigi. Star Boo is used in the any percent run, so that's probably what he's used to. And, you know, playing the familiarity here makes sense. Metal didn't have the strokes to skip 16, so yeah, wound up skipping 17. So although he seemed to be playing faster, maybe his score wasn't as high. That bunker's going to make things a little tricky here. But all he needs to do is par to get through the course. But yeah, talking Peaches, you've got these chain chomp pits. This is a scary shot. That is out of bounds if the ball stays in the chomp pit. As long as it bounces out, you're fine. All you do is make a very angry dog. But as long as it doesn't come to rest in the chomp pit, you're totally fine. But if it does, it's out of bounds, so you got to watch out for those. The fast fairway patches become a bit more devious. So hitting those does make your ball go tremendously further. And they are much worse placed on this course compared to Bluebird. It's still bad no matter what, but they are designed now to make you careen off of greens, into bunkers, into water. It's a mess. You got to respect the fast fairway and make sure if you're hitting it with intent and not by accident. Because if you hit by accident, typically bad things happen. And speaking of hitting a fast fairway with intent, there's a patch of fast fairway on the elevation there, and Spy hit it with super backspin, causing the ball to jump and rocket over the remainder of that hill, and that lets him reach green in 2. I don't think he's too happy with the second shot, definitely overhit it, but this should be a possible chip in for eagle. Oh, 0.17, you hate to see it, just a bit short. Have to settle for the birdie. It's too bad, a missed opportunity to get an extra stroke there. Metal also got rain on 2, but no problem, that should be an easy putt. So the lead is 2.5 holes. It seemed to get extended a little bit, mostly because of the difference between a 5-4 skip and a 5-3 skip in that blooper. So Metal's got to keep it going. I don't think this shot was intended. He used a driver and just completely rocketed it, and now we have to watch the ball roll and chain for a long time. And getting out of here is not going to be easy either. The hot ball will help. if he hit a short ball, that might not have gotten over the hill. So, I don't know what happened with MetalYoshi on that one, but having to take a bogey is very uncharacteristic. So, needs to bounce back from that one. Maybe he'll get the awesome strat on 4. Nope, missed the fast fairway. Spy got a little close to the water there, but no problem. So we're coming up on hole 8. You'll see a little, I don't know what you call this, maybe a cheese strat. But you hit around this hill, and that lets you get to the green in 2. It's pretty easy. Oh, that's a good chip in from Metal there to get birdie after going in the water. Talk about the highs and the lows. Pretty crazy. I'm taking some notes. I'm trying to be a good caster for the interviews later. But Metals definitely needs to step it up. Did he get this putt? Nope. That camera angle is scary. That was not an easy putt. I'm going to settle for another par. The greens on this course are very, very tricky. So Metal's got to focus up and get some more birdies. Otherwise, he risks getting a bad hole skip. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's in the water. There's the patch of fast fairway there, and if you touch that, you're probably in the water. Yeah, Metal's looking very shaky on this course, and Spy is minus 10 through 10, so experiencing no problems. Settling down after his blooper seemed to not be what he wanted. He fast putted in the... You don't do that in the rain. I think he thought it was still going to go in, but in the rain, the ball definitely doesn't travel as far, so it's a bit riskier to hit those like shorter putts to try and save some time. We call those a fast putt because if you speed up the animation, it does save you a second and a half, versus if the animation doesn't get sped up, the little birdie flying in, that animation, the word flying in, it takes a lot longer. So sometimes going for fast putts in the rain can cost you when the ball doesn't go in. Hole 12 here, this is a good opportunity to get another eagle. I think the tee shot gave a bad lie for Spyfox, even though he was in the fairway, so can't go for the green in 2. Have to hopefully get a chip in here, at least get the ball close. Metal bouncing back nice with the eagle on 8. Is expected, so maybe that'll get the nerves out, because hole 4, 6, and 7 were looking very shaky. But the lead has definitely extended to about 4 holes now, and it's only going to get worse when we start to see the hole skips. So that's going to be quite a deficit going into Badlands unless things get turned on very quick. Spy's still going strong. Birdie after birdie. You'll have to see the minus 13 through 13. Very few mistakes, and I think only 1 mistake here. So Spy's electing to play 14. Some runners do skip this hole. Oh, that is a beautiful tee shot. Bouncing off the rock to get up there. And no risk of accidentally going in the pipe with the +3 here. That ball's going to be way too hot. In fact, trying his best to get it to roll back onto the green just doesn't fall. Good chip in, though, to keep the birdie alive. So I think Spy is looking to skip, 15. Is he going to do 15, 16? He might do 2 par 4s. Because the last... Nope, he's going to play 16, okay. No, he's not. I lied. So he's going to skip 15, 16. A lot of runners do that. They skip 2 par 4s because those 2 holes are pretty notoriously bad. 17 isn't terrible, and 18 is actually pretty easy, as long as you don't get a terrible lie off your tee shot. And even still, you can get a birdie. So most runners elect to skip the difficult holes. Missing the putt though, so Spy will need a birdie on 18. It seemed to be requiring a lot of birdies on 18 during his runs, but hasn't run into a problem yet. Cutoff is +1 for Peaches. So, Metal's at -6. You can definitely see the score difference. He's going for the pipe strat on 13, his bread and butter. Nails it, so that should feel good. He even got a hot ball, so made some adjustments to make sure it went in. Doesn't get the chip in, though, so it definitely saves time to do the pipe strat. The second shot is from such an elevated spot that the ball takes forever to travel, so I'm sure he's feeling good about that. Spy gets his birdie on 18 and is going to be heading into Badlands. So it is about, quick math, Metal's going to be able to skip maybe 18. So he's going to get 1 hole back, so it's still probably a 3-hole lead going into Badlands. So although the gap was shortening in Blooper, it definitely widened in Peaches. So if Spy can just get through this without any problems, I have no idea. Oh my goodness. Somebody take a picture. I don't think I've ever seen Waluigi standing inside the mushroom before. So that's called getting ghosted. When your character can't stand to take their normal shot with their normal stance, then the game will mercifully still allow you to hit the ball, but you will lose half your power. And that ball was so close to the mushroom that Waluigi's character model was actually inside of it. That's certainly a new one. So Metal having to deal with some very unique challenges during his Peaches run. Spy seems to be starting off on Badlands quite nicely. Hole 2 can be very scary. That tee shot is a bit tricky if you don't use the camera. It's very easy to go out of bounds if you're not careful. So it looks like Metal's gonna skip 18. Did he get the... Okay, I was gonna say, if he missed that putt, I would have been sad. I'm not sure what happened for Spy on shot 2. Maybe he hit the I don't know what you call that thing. The castle structure. There's a name for it. You think I'd know. I am the Koopa King after all. But he wound up out of bounds, and now his second shot bounced off the rock. So he's playing for double bogey here. Not what you want to see. That might inspire. Yeah, that's probably it. So, okay, so he ends up getting 1 bogey. I was a bit off on my math. But you don't want to see that. That can get in your head a bit. So Metal's continuing with Star Waluigi here. So you're going to see maybe a bit of character difference. I'm not sure if Metal has as much experience with Star Wa and Badlands. It's a pretty unique category to be running him. But he definitely has an advantage, so if he could play very well and use the character advantage, might be able to pick up a couple of seconds over this course. 18 holes will be deciding who moves on and who goes home. So Spy avoiding the Pit of Despair on 5. That is an excellent second shot. Excellent, excellent hole 5.
Nice shot.
So getting through that quite nicely. I don't think Spy liked his tee shot here. Oh, what happened there, Metal? Missed the putt. Oh no. Have to shake that off. Every stroke is gonna matter. Whoever gets the better hole skip is either gonna win or significantly catch up. We may need to see another mistake from Spy, but Metal already got 1. So he should be taking advantage of this, and this ball is very short. That's gonna go out of bounds. I think that's probably what happened to Spyfox. That looked like a very similar shot. So trading mistakes on hole 3 here.
Nice shot.
Watchtower, yeah. So does Metal settle down? Yeah, he gets his par. So got a stroke over Spy there, but missed opportunity to gain some time. Because that could have been an eagle.
Nice shot.
Spy's having to deal with a tricky situation hitting out of the rough here. I don't know why he didn't like that shot, because that's a pretty good shot. Maybe he did like it, I can't tell. the little pause thing where the UI disappears can usually mean one of a couple things. And Metal went for his Megalodon strat on 5, and it didn't pay off. I think he's going to bounce back into a okay position. Okay, semi-rough there is way better than the rough. He still won't be able to get to the green in 2, so he'll pay for his mistake, but it could have been significantly worse. So you could definitely see him taking some risks to try and catch up. I think he knows he's behind. He's at least able to save par despite winding up on 5 in the pit of despair. Spy's already on 11 though, so the gap is definitely widening by a fair amount. So we're going to probably need to see a mistake or two on the back half for Metal to have a chance here. I don't want to say it's over, but it's not looking good. So Spy's on the semi-rough here. This makes the shot a little trickier, but should still be able to get there. Metal having no problems on 6. That can be a tricky hole. 7 can also be a tricky hole. It's difficult to get this close. This green has all sorts of geometry to it, and it's tough to get to stick. Getting that within 2 meters there is very, very nice shot. So hole 13 is where we could see some oof. You have to deal with the fences, and hitting one of those basically spells death. But it looks like Spy has a very easy shot here to get through this with no problem, so going to be on an eagle chance. Metal's on hole 8, another make it or break it hole. Couldn't tell where he was aiming, but I think he's fine. As long as this sticks, you're good to go. We're in the heath, but it's not the lava. That's all that really matters. And gets the chip in for eagle. That'll definitely help. Spy's at +2. I don't think he's going to have time for another hole skip. Maybe if he eagles 16, it might be possible. But cutoff is +0, so I don't think that's going to happen. I missed Metal's tee shot, but I admit going out of bounds on 9 is probably a rarity. Usually you wind up in the pit of despair, so I'm not sure how he wound up out of bounds. Maybe the tee shot wasn't what he was hoping for, but not what you want when you're playing from behind. So having to putt for a bogey. Ouch. Not what you want to see. I think Metal's taking some risks because he knows he's behind and they're not paying off, unfortunately. Spy missed a somewhat of a tricky putt. I'm sure he's not happy with that one. So yeah, definitely no chance for a second hole skip. Have to play out the remaining holes. So 16 is the longest hole in the game. As long as you don't get messed over by those womps, you should be okay. Trying to get to the far island in 2 is best. It's especially best if you can get the ball to roll past the womp. Yeah, that's exactly what you want. Oh no. Poor MetalYoshi's in the water on 11. Ouch. 11 is not an easy hole, especially when you got a driver. Wound up shorting it. Didn't have enough loft. I think maybe he had a hook on the ball. So yet another bogey, and his score is plummeting. So Spy is out of power strokes. But I don't think that's going to matter much because you don't need a power stroke on 18. So if you're going to run out of power strokes, running out now is like the ideal time. Usually you don't want that to happen, but that's all right. And he's going for the driver strat on 18. That's a bit faster, and, you know, just getting it down there in a safe spot is what you want. I believe... Nope, missed that one, but it has the strips, and there you go. Mason and Spyfox finishing under hour. So GG's to them. They will move on. Sure, we can get these runners in here for some interviews. Let's see here.
Nice shot. Chip in. Nice eagle.
See if I can get the right link to the runners so that they can join me for some commentary.
Nice shot.
Metal's finishing up here. That's a good second shot on 14. Back pin certainly helps. There are 3 pin locations you can get on the back half of the game, and that one's probably one of the more favorable ones. Does score matter or just time? It's just time. Time is the only thing that matters in this game. I think we got Zaxxa and Mason in here. Welcome.
Whoop. Hello.
And there's Spy. Welcome.
What's up? What's up? Good
Great.
morning, too.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Great runs for all of you guys. The first thing I want to say is the front half of the game was probably the closest front half I've seen so far this tournament. There was no more than a 2 or 3 hole difference between Zaxxa and Mason, so that was exciting to watch the entire time as you guys were both playing toe-to-toe with each other. So how, you know, I guess I'll start with you, Zaxxa. How do you think your run went?
Better than the last one, I think. At least I made all the cutoffs this time.
You did make all the cutoffs this time.
That back 9 sands was... what? Like, I had so many chip-ins on back 9 of sands, like...
We were getting a little worried when you were at the score when we were in the back half.
I think that chip-in on 13 was probably just the most clutch moment I've ever had on this game.
Oh yeah, that was a wonderful chip-in to get that eagle. That was really needed to get things back on track.
360 drop as well.
Yep, you love to see it.
Ooh.
I feel bad for MetalYoshi right now. He's probably hit every single problem on this whole 16 in the rain. It's just... Is he going to hit the front of the Womp too? No, he's going to hit the top of it. Okay. Piranha Plant, that's not fun. I'm sure he's happy to get out of here. Just put that behind him. The other thing I wanted to say is your whole skips were interesting. I think you wound up in the water on CCF 13.
Sands 2.
Sands 2, you wound up in the water as well. So what's going through your mind when you're like, oh crap, I have to give up these holes, which I'm not intending to do?
I don't know, I just... At the point of Sands 2, I was like, you know, it's just a bad run. I didn't think it was close at all. Like, especially after... Like, I had a decent Lakitu. I mean, 10-04 is not horrible. But that Cheep was just... awful.
Yeah. So it happens, but you stayed close the whole time, I'll say that. You weren't too far behind during the, at the handoff point, so, well done. Mason, I think your CCF was pretty nice. You got a 5-4 skip. So how did you think that went?
I felt okay about pretty much everything. I mean, I definitely could have done better on each of the courses, but nothing too bad. Trying to go for a lot of interesting, really close shots and hit a lot of trees on cheap. But nothing that really hurt.
You had a couple of awkward positions. I remember a nice recovery on Sands 8 where you were stuck behind the cacti and wound up pulling a nice second shot out.
Yeah, yeah, I was disappointed because I like that. I almost got a dunk on that previously. So
you definitely had a couple that looked like they had some eyes.
Man, I have not had any good hole-in-ones or hole-outs this tournament yet, so I'm hoping. The 80% tournament, I had a few. So.
Yeah. Wishing you the best on that. So you're certainly moving on, so there'll be more opportunities. Spy, let me talk to you next because I think Metal's still trying to get in here. It was interesting watching you. Like, I'll let you take the lead on this, but I've got some notes.
Yeah, no, I definitely, you can tell I was not completely warmed up today. There was a lot of small, weird things that kind of just added up over the course of that run. I guess starting with, I went to Lakitu Valley.
I didn't even. We hadn't done the switch over. We hadn't done the switch over yet, so we didn't see that.
So I accidentally went into the first course, and then I exited out and had to go to blooper. But I think one of the things I remember most is a blooper 8. I ended up with a bad lie on my second shot, and then I quickly aimed, and that went in somehow. So that was cool.
That was a beautiful chip, and I think that was like one of the best hole-outs this match.
Yeah, and then I completely gave it all back on the next hole. So you hate to see that.
That looked. Yeah, I think you went into the grass. And it just.
Yeah, I was trying to think too quick on the tee shot, and I didn't aim properly. So
you ended up going off the back on 17 and bogeying the hole. Did that affect your nerves playing 18 because you needed the stroke, or no?
I think I just needed the birdie on 18, but then and then I almost messed up 18 too. Like I went short into the bunker and had to put out again. So yeah, it was just a lot of dumb things. Not too much to say other than that.
Your peaches looked pretty good, I would say. Mostly knocking down your birdies. The Bowser, peaches solid,
and then
you went OB on 3 in Badlands. I think that was about the only big mistake.
Yeah, 3 was a bit unfortunate. I had a bad lie on the second shot, and then accidentally slashed a little bit too much. So then that backspun just went straight back in the chomp pit.
I literally made the exact same mistake.
Yes, you did.
Oh, dang.
You guys traded mistakes on that one.
Yeah, what a horror show. I mean, it's like, you can practice until the cows come home. You can have Dawn strats. You can add contingencies to the Dawn strats. But if you make the wrong mistake, then things can fall apart. And that's what happened to me.
Yeah, it only takes a couple. And then you're done.
I've made... Like, I've always, quoted in my streams that, it's okay to make mistakes if they're good mistakes. Like, say, for instance, if you're playing a low shot, but you got to carry somewhere, adding a slice will give you some much-needed loft, and you'll end up carrying about the same as you would have before. But if you hook, then that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's
the wrong mistake.
Great advice for aiming for the good mistakes. That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you don't always have to be perfect, so being able to increase your timing margins and trying to play stuff where it's like, you can err in a specific way. The problem is, as I was trying to chase the fox and realizing my situation, I just, I panicked. I was getting hooks, and hooks are bad.
Yeah.
For my style of play.
Oh yeah.
So knowing that you were 2 or 3 holes behind at the handoff, did that affect your play a little? Because
well, I mean, I hope for the best, anticipate the worst. But that's why I tried coming out firing fast and hard.
It definitely looked like your playstyle was taking many more risks, especially going into Badlands. You mentioned trying that Megalodon thing on, hole 5, and that didn't pan out for you.
Yeah, hole 5. So
could've
that
been
was
worse.
so that was a trick that I discovered. So what was intended to happen is with you're given a 3-wood, but if you go up to the driver and just straight up low draw, then you'll just carry right over to a tuft of rough and just gently splash up on the left side. But a hook kills that. But that part could have been much worse.
Oh yeah. I also have to ask about your hole 3 on Peaches.
Hole 3 on Peaches. Okay.
The driver, you kind of careened.
No, that was not intended. So
Okay.
that's part of like the whole sort of panic thing. And what happened was I was trying to set up a low shot because for anything but center flag there, for the other 2 flags that are on the left side, you can just pretty much just shoot straight up low. So, but the problem is that I was holding up before swinging, and so that clubs you up. And and I thought, and there I got lucky too. But I happen to remember that there is a way to play a driver up there, not with any great precision, but you could play a driver there. But that didn't work out. That was a case of just dumb brain and not press an A first.
That's very unfortunate. And then you had a unfortunate lie on 15 where your character model was wholeheartedly inside the mushroom. I don't think I've seen that before.
That's the risk of playing lawn and rolling down the hill there. And there's not really a perfect way to solve that problem, because the idea is you're trying to add topspin in order to bias your ball away from drawing back on landing and curving it more right. But that rightward was too much right, and so managed to whip up the birdie there somehow just the same. That was
great recovery.
That was pretty awesome. So fast fairway is fast. Respect it and use it to your advantage.
And I think I'll save you from talking about the Badlands. Let's just say you were going for broke.
Yeah, I mean, you could ask me. You could ask me about whatever hole, but it's more or less the same story. Hooks.
I feel
11 was too much hook. 5 was too much hook.
6 and 7 were a bit shaky.
9.
16 was like, I felt so bad watching 16.
16. Well, I mean, at that point, I saw that it was over, so there was nothing to be done.
I appreciate you feeding my piranha plants.
I don't know if there's any good protein in this golf ball.
Extra gameplay, right?
Too.
Extra gameplay.
Well, awesome. So, MD Mason, Spyfox are moving on. They're going to play Heflix and Cymar in the losers finals. So this tournament's starting to come to a close a bit. Thoughts on your next match? What do you think are going to be the keys to victory?
Coffee, definitely.
I'm right there with you on the coffee.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit tired right now. That's 7 a.m. is a little bit early for me, but made it work.
Well, keep up the good work, guys.
Again.
Yeah, GG's.
Yeah, GG's.
Yeah, I think a run like this would probably get us into the finals, but we definitely got to play better if we go up against Camper and Rhino again.
You guys earned sub-hour. That's a good mark to hit in this tournament.
I've said it every time. I mean, Rhino's a beast, so you got to be strong. And K Camper, his style is built for this kind of thing. He takes the extra second or two for those perfect shots. He does not flounder at all.
He's definitely built tournament consistency into his playstyle, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't expect to take the W from them, but we'll do our best in the next match.
Awesome. All right. Any other closing thoughts before we wrap up here?
It was fun.
Don't forget the coffee. Just don't forget.
Yeah.
Break out the coffee.
I'm going. I'm heading there right now.
Well, Yeah, make sure you put in your, your schedule and all that, because you might even be able to do something today. I'd love to watch.
Double header? What? Ooh, that would be fun.
More balls for the piranha plants.
Exactly. Hopefully not during the run, but
Of course, of course.
Awesome. Well, thanks to runners for playing. Excellent match to watch and commentate. I really enjoyed this one, and I'm looking forward to the next match. We'll get that on the books shortly. So, thank y'all
Absolute
for
pleasure.
tuning in for this
Thank you, Razor.
relay race. Appreciate y'all. Take
Yeah,
care.
thanks for comms.
GG's WPs.
Thanks for comms.